everyone, I'm Koryn Okey, and welcome back to Breezeway Academy. At Breezeway Academy, you'll learn how to build stronger, more professional vacation rental operations. So whether you manage 10 homes or 1,000, this series is here to give you practical frameworks, proven systems, and real-world best practices that you can apply immediately. At Breezeway, we work with thousands of property managers around the world, and every day we get to see how high-performing operators structure their teams, build their workflows, and deliver 5-star stays consistently. In this series, Housekeeping Excellence, we're going to break down what it actually takes to build and run a smooth, scalable housekeeping operation in vacation rentals. In our last video, we talked about one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your operation, which is whether or not to use internal employees or external cleaning partners, or a hybrid of the two. But now that you've thought through the structure, the next step is equally as important. How do you actually find, hire, train, and retain great cleaners? Because the reality is that your operations are only as strong as the people who are doing the work. Finding reliable, high-quality cleaners is one of the biggest challenges that operators face. Plus, keeping them and getting high-quality work is where most operations break down. Because housekeeping is one of the highest turnover roles in vacation rental operations. Cleaners are often working under tight time constraints, they're managing physically demanding work, and dealing with consistently changing environments. So when things go wrong, operators are often going to feel that immediately. They'll see missed cleans, they'll have inconsistent quality, you'll get last-minute no-shows. But the truth is that in many of these cases, the issue isn't the cleaner. It's just a lack of structure, clarity, and support of the work that they're doing. And when you build the right systems, you don't just find better cleaners, you get better performance from the cleaners that you already have. So we want to break down how you can build a cleaning organization that actually works. First, let's start with sourcing. Where do you actually find cleaners? The reality is that there isn't a single place that's going to be where you get all of the perfect cleaners from, but there are a few proven channels that consistently work well. And one of the most effective places is going to be local host or property managers communities, things like Facebook groups. These are going to be highly targeted, and you're more likely to find people who already understand the expectations of cleaning a short-term rental. Referrals are another really strong channel. Your current cleaners, your vendors, or even other operators may know reliable people. Incentivizing referrals can be a really fast way to build a trusted team. Local job boards, community groups, service directories, even service provider networks like what we offer here at Breezeway can be very effective depending on your market. In some cases, you may find that some of these folks are a little bit more hospitality adjacent, like hotel housekeepers, but they're going to have some relevant experience. Either way, here's the key. Where you find the cleaners matters less than how you clearly define the work that they need to do. Because if the expectations aren't clear up front, even the best cleaners are going to struggle. So before you hire anyone, you need to clearly define what the job is. A strong job description is going to set the foundation for everything that follows. And you should be explicit about the type of work that they're going to do. Is it a turnover clean, a deep clean? Will there be both? What's their schedule? Are they working mostly weekends, a lot of same-day turnovers? What types of properties will they be working in? How long is the work expected? And how are they going to be paid? The more clarity that you can provide up front, the fewer issues you'll have later on. Because most hiring challenges don't come from bad candidates. They come from unclear expectations. So once you start interviewing candidates, it's really important to know what matters. And first and foremost is going to be, what traits are you looking for in the cleaners that you hire? And one of those is going to be reliability. Having a reliable cleaner is going to be more important than someone who's very fast every single day. A cleaner who's going to show up and do solid work has much more impact on your business than somebody who can work really fast but isn't consistent. Next is going to be attention to detail. Vacation rental cleanings isn't just making things look pretty. It's about following a process and catching the small things. Communication is also another critical trait because your cleaners need to be comfortable reporting issues, asking questions, flagging problems in real time. And finally, look for a willingness to learn. Your processes are likely different from what they're used to, and the best cleaners are going to be open to training and feedback. Now, there are also a few red flags that you should watch out for. If somebody's giving you vague availability, if they're resistant to following your checklists or adapting to your processes, if they have hesitation around documenting the work that they do, these are going to be red flags that may make them not the perfect fit for your business. But remember, you're not hiring for perfection, you're hiring for consistency. And so once you find the right people, the next step is going to be setting clear expectations in writing. And this is where your cleaning agreement or your contract is going to come into play. Now, this doesn't have to be overly complicated. It does need to be clear though. And it should outline the scope of work, the quality standards, what the re-clean expectations are, how damage and issues are reported, payment terms, and communication expectations. A clear agreement isn't going to create friction, it's going to build trust, and it will ensure that everybody is aligned from the start. Now, let's talk about training, because this is where a lot of operators fall short. Training isn't just a one-time thing that happens when you bring somebody into your business. It's an ongoing process that happens on a recurring basis and also can be reinforced through your systems. It starts with defining your standard operating procedures. So what does a clean actually mean? What needs to be done in every room? What details matter most? And once these standards are defined, you need to train cleaners on them through real-life examples. Bring them into a property after a guest has left before it's been cleaned. Have them give you ideas of what they think should be done. Have them do a test clean that you're there for and you can provide live feedback on. Here's the most important part though. Your training isn't going to live in a handbook. It's going to live in the training that you provide to them and is upheld through the tools that your cleaners use to do their job every day. And this is where systems like Breezeway will come in. With Breezeway, you can assign tasks clearly, you can provide step-by-step checklists with reference photos, and that ensures that your cleaners know exactly what's expected at every property. And that means that if you have someone who's never been into a property, they can still clean it like the person who's cleaned it 100 times. Instead of relying on memory, your standards are built into the workflows that they're using every day to do their jobs. Your cleaners aren't guessing, they're following a system. Once you've built a strong team, the next challenge is really about how do you keep them. Retention is going to be what separates stable operations and constant chaos. And it doesn't really just come down to pay. So how do you retain great cleaners? Well, let's start with clear expectations and fair workloads. If you're overloading your team, especially during peak season, the work is going to suffer. You want to make sure also that your pay is transparent and reliable. You want to share feedback and be appreciative of the work that they do. Remember, your cleaners are the ones likely spending the most amount of time in your properties between guests, and they should always know what they're earning and what they'll be paid. Recognition also matters. Again, acknowledging great work goes a long way in building loyalty. Share that feedback, specifically around positive experiences. So often we share the things that don't go right or the things that were missed, but it's really important to share about the positive experiences that your cleaners influence. And finally, give them visibility into their work. When the cleaners understand how they're performing and how their work impacts the entire business, they're going to take more ownership. Cleaners who feel informed and respected not only perform better, but they stay longer. Finding and hiring cleaners is just the beginning. The real work is what you do to create an environment that they can be successful in and want to stay in. And when you invest in structure, clarity, clear communications, you don't just improve housekeeping operations, you improve the entire business. So in the next video, we're going to dive into another critical piece of the puzzle, which is how to pay your vacation rental cleaners fairly, transparently, and efficiently. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Breezeway Academy.